So you want to play George Harrison's hardest Beatles guitar riff? Well, listen to this. Octopus's Garden is one of my top 5 favorite Beatles songs. It has everything. A quirky rhythm guitar part, a bouncy Paul McCartney bass line, amazing piano work, a ton of overdubs, and a show-stopping vocal performance by none other than Sir Richard Starkey. But the real star of Octopus's Garden is George Harrison's guitar work. So here's how to play it. Number 1, get the right guitar. George received his Rosewood Telecaster towards the end of 1968. It was actually a prototype made by Fender specifically for George, and he put it to use almost instantly during the Get Back sessions. I don't think it's a coincidence that right after George got this guitar, his lead guitar playing changed considerably. His solos became more fluid, his bends more soaring, and you even kind of hear George talk about this in the Get Back documentary.
I can just, feel myself my fingers getting loose.
Just to name one contender, that incredible guitar solo on the rooftop on the One After 909. Listen to it isolated, man. That blistering, perfect, fast guitar performance on the rooftop shows how much this amazing, quirky guitar affected his guitar playing. And it sure affected mine too. I was lucky enough to find a Rosewood Telecaster on Reverb for a pretty reasonable price. And let me tell you, this neck is the silkiest, smoothest guitar neck I've ever played. It feels like someone doused the neck in finger ease. It's so smooth, it's almost slippery. As a guitarist who struggled to play the intro to Octopus's Garden on many, many guitars, after trying it on the Rosewood Telly, I realized that the guitar itself makes a huge amount of difference. After just a few days playing this guitar, my fingers loosened up. I could feel my hands dancing between fret positions and strings. It is such a playable lead guitar. And for a riff as fast and challenging as the Octopus's Garden intro, you might not need this exact guitar, but it definitely helps. Tip number 2, the G-string trick. But even then, the right guitar didn't get me 100% of the way there. When the Telly arrived, one of the first riffs I tried was that incredible bend on I've Got a Feeling. And I was dismayed to realize I couldn't do it really well. But on our podcast, Gear There and Everywhere, we heard a story that George would actually substitute a B string in the place of the G string. Big picture, a much lighter gauge, slinkier string in the place of the more solid and heavier G string. And I tell you what, that trick makes so much difference. After replacing the G string with the B string, those bends became so easy. The I've Got a Feeling bend, and of course, the bends on Octopus's Garden. If you're having any trouble getting those G-string bends, especially on the Octopus's Garden intro, put a B string where the G string should be. It's gonna make a huge amount of difference. Tip number 3, fingering matters. A lot. You prick. Last but not least, how you finger this riff makes a huge amount of difference. I've been playing George Harrison guitar parts for almost 30 years. I'm an old fart, and I've been awed by his fluidity and creativity on lead guitar. But even then, the Octopus's Garden intro kind of stumped me. How did he play something so melodic, so fast, and so dynamic, so easily? Well, it turns out the fingering matters a lot. On most Beatles solos and riffs George played, you never really need to use every finger on your left hand. Most solos require maybe 2 fingers, sometimes 3. In fact, the only other really well-known solo that really requires using all them digits is Till There Was You. On this song, I've only ever really tried it the same way I play 99% of other Beatles solos, with 2 fingers, maybe 3. So then I went to YouTube. I found dozens of videos of guitarists, great guitarists, teaching this riff, performing this riff, playing it live, and none of them sounded right. But the ones that got the closest were using all the fingers on their left hand, which is not easy. So this is where I went to work. I isolated that guitar part, slowed it down, and just listened to it over and over and over again. I figured out where the hammer-ons were, where the picking happened, where the slides were, and then I rehearsed it. And I rehearsed it in a way that allowed me to play it fast, comfortably, and with that melodic sense of nuance that George could. And I figured out how to play it. So instead of explaining to you how to finger this riff, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you from a bunch of angles. So I want to talk about this song in more detail. I don't know if I'll have a chance to talk about Octopus's Garden again, so I'm going to get it all out here. Now I might take a few detours here, but stay with me, I will tie it all together. This song has always made me surprisingly emotional for a silly song about an octopus that Ringo sings.
I've got a song about an octopus. Jam it up your ass.
I thought about this, and I've uncovered 3 major reasons. Number 1 is a trick in musical composition that always gets me emotional, every single time. I call it the 3 melodies trick. The musical trick of introducing 3 competing melodies at the same time is an extremely effective musical device. It overwhelms the senses and envelops you in the magic of the song. And it's not just the Beatles. You can hear it in musicals. One of my favorite examples is in Les Mis, the song One Day More. And I think the shining example of this trick is on God Only Knows. And I tell you what, for such an effective trick, the Beatles really didn't use it much at all. I hear it only really on 2 other songs. Let It Be, that incredible outro lead guitar playing on top of the harmonies, on top of Paul's lead vocal. Number 2, and there might even be 4 melodies here. No other Beatles song moves me as much as that. And I know it's a kind of silly song, at least in conception, but that trick is also on Octopus's Garden. In that outro, we have a lot going on. We have Ringo singing the lead vocal.
I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden with you.
We had the Beatles harmonizing with Ringo on that lead vocal.
I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden with you.
Number 2, we had the backing vocals, a chill-inducing counter melody on top of that.
With you in an octopus's garden.
And then last but not least, we have George Harrison's exquisite guitar work. It's incredible, man. So I also want to hit on the spirit of the song. Everyone knew this was probably the end of the Beatles. Residual tensions from the Get Back sessions were still burning under the surface. John suggesting that his songs go on one side of Abbey Road, his spotty attendance and participation at the sessions, Paul's emerging dominance around this time, and George's repressed but emerging talent. Ringo wrote this tune as an ode to how good it felt to escape those tensions. It's a fantastic thought to picture Ringo on a boat in Sardinia, being told about this beautiful habit of octopuses, or octopi, whatever, gathering little stones and collecting them, creating their own gardens under the sea. So the spirit of the song is really sweet. And despite those tensions that Ringo felt so euphoric to escape, this song is a grand exception to those tensions. If anything, it's an ode to the power of teamwork. Every Beatle is firing on all cylinders to bring Ringo's song to life. George Martin's influence is there too. He's all over the structure of the song, repeating the outro 3 times, the chord changes in that solo break. It has all of George Martin's signatures right there. The idea of the Beatles, even at the end of their career, coming together to pitch in equally on Ringo's tune, it really is a moving thought. Even at the end, they came together for their friend. Which leads me to my final point. Beatles songs are about all kinds of things. A sad, lonely old woman, relationships, yearning, desire. But we don't have many Beatles songs about friendship. It's not really a surprise to me that the other main Beatles song about friendship is a Ringo song. But Octopus's Garden, even though it's a goofy kid's song, it's such a distillation of what Ringo brought to the Beatles and what defines him as a person, his capacity for friendship. Ringo was the emollient. He smoothed out the rough edges of what he called the writers. He was a stabilizing force, and he was a total goofball.
Eyes on your second mic tomorrow, or
I'll just not let you know.
There's no greater distillation of Ringo's spirit than Octopus's Garden. When you're hoping to escape the harsh realities of life, the responsibilities of adulthood, or even just having a shitty day, the idea of escaping under the sea with your friends, just such a beautiful image. I also want to mention George's guitar work, which says so much about George himself. It's so moving to know that the overlooked and often underappreciated Beatle brought his A game for Ringo, encouraging him, taking his idea seriously, and adding some of the greatest guitar work of his life. On a final note, I was lucky to see Ringo perform this song live and brought the house down. I highly recommend seeing Ringo live if you can. All right, guys, that's it. That's how to play Octopus's Garden, George's hardest guitar riff. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I hope you all get to escape to your Octopus's Gardens sometime soon. Take care, guys. Hey guys, one last thing, and I'll put in some clips of George in here to make it entertaining. These videos take a lot of time and love to make. Unfortunately, because I use a lot of isolated tracks and isolated Beatles vocals, I can't always monetize them. If you want to show your appreciation, I do have a PayPal link in my description, and I'll put it in the pinned comment. Totally optional, but if you'd like to show your appreciation, that would be a great way to do it. Thank you very much. Bye.
I was just on the deck, and the captain came out, and, he realized we didn't want his octopus. He said, you know what octopus do? They find on the ocean bed pretty rocks and tins, actually, that've been thrown from other boats, and they put like a garden around them. Well, when you're stoned, that's the best idea I've ever heard in my life. I go, what? Yeah.